I just went on Wiki that were easily accessible since this campaign began, that he is bankrupt 4 times, that he got all his money from his father.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the public figures who haven't been afraid to give President Donald Trump a piece or several pieces of their minds.
So Melanie goes, I loved it. Tomorrow you should do Pence's head. All right, that.
Number 30, Tom Hanks.
You know, in the past, there were Republicans that I never questioned that their sincerity or their belief in the American system. And I think with the administration the way it's been, I think I'm not sure the man has took his oath seriously to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
The 2-time Oscar winner and America's unofficial dad has never shied away from sharing his personal feelings about the nation's 47th president. Prior to the 2016 election that ushered Trump into office, Hanks was asked about the Republican presidential candidate while doing press for the mystery thriller film Inferno. The actor called Trump a self-involved gas bag and mused that a Trump victory would be, quote, a dark day for planet Earth.
Our Constitution says, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union. That journey to a more perfect union has missteps in it. We know. I can catalog them as much as you can, and you're a professional journalist, and I'm just a guy that makes movies and reads books.
Fast forward 8 years to just ahead of the 2024 election, and Hanks was wary about a second Trump term, but more optimistic, saying that, quote, there's always reason to be worried about the short term. Hanks then shared his opinion that the USA, quote, cannot help but turn towards what is right.
Over the long term, however, we inevitably make progress towards, I think, that more perfect union. That's what it is. And how does it come about? It comes about not because of somebody's narrative of who is right or who is a victim or not. It comes out of the slow melding of the truth to the actual practical life that we end up living.
Number 29, Billie Eilish.
The internet's gone wild, watching movie stars on trial while they're overturning Roe v. Wade.
In the 21st century, pop stars can take one of 2 paths: outspoken political advocacy and risk of alienating your audience, or silent complicity. Thankfully, genre-defying singer-songwriter Eilish took the former path. She and her brother/frequent collaborator Phineas have long been vocal about issues like climate change and women's rights, which in her view puts her directly at odds with President Trump.
Donald Trump is destroying our country and everything we care about. We need leaders who will solve problems like climate change and COVID, not deny them. Leaders who will fight against systemic racism and inequality. And that starts by voting for someone who understands how much is at stake. Someone who's building a team that shares our values.
In the wake of his decisive victory in November 2024, Eilish railed against Trump at a Nashville concert of hers, sharing her opinion that, quote, someone who hates women so deeply is about to be the President of the United States of America. This came after Eilish's immediate reaction to the election, which was an Instagram story declaring that a war on women was afoot.
I just love you so much, and I want you to know that you're safe with me, and you're protected here, and you are safe in this room.
Number 28, Bette Midler.
Did you ever know that you're my hero?
Sure, this legendary Renaissance woman has won 4 Golden Globes, 3 Grammys, 3 Emmys, and 2 Tonys, and has been nominated for 2 Oscars. But these days, Midler may be better known amongst younger generations for her, well, let's say, unique brand of social media activism.
Washed-up psycho Bette Midler was forced to apologize for a statement she attributed to me that turned out to be totally fabricated by her in order to make your great president look really bad. She got caught, just like the fake news media gets caught, a sick scammer.
Midler, born in 1945, has garnered considerable media attention in recent years for her well-documented trolling of President Trump. In the lead-up to the 2024 presidential election, Midler shared several memes excoriating Trump, and even jokingly implied that a Trump victory might lead her to take her own life. Once it was confirmed that Trump would be retaking office, Midler issued a lengthy statement on X denouncing the president before deleting her account entirely.
You are the wind beneath my wings.
Number 27, Green Day.
I don't think anybody was prepared, to be honest. Nobody was prepared, and that's why you see so much shock and outrage right now. We weren't prepared for Trump to be the president and the leader of the free world, so everybody is rightfully scared out of their minds. So
it may not come as much of a surprise that these pop-punk provocateurs aren't among the president's biggest fans. After all, their beloved 2004 album, American Idiot, is a crystal-clear repudiation of George W. Bush's presidency and the accompanying Iraq War. In a January 2024 Vulture interview, frontman/guitarist Billy Joe Armstrong commented that, quote, "We are on the brink of an autocratic government, or someone who is blatantly saying, if I'm president again, I'm going to be a dictator."
I'm running part of a MAGA agenda.
Appearing on Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve in 2023, he changed a lyric in that album's titular song, taking aim at Trump and supporters of his MAGA agenda. At a March 2025 concert, Armstrong asked his audience at a Melbourne performance if they wished politicians like Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance would just shut up.
Don't wanna be an American idiot. Don't want a nation under the new media.
Number 26, Ron Perlman.
If you were playing Donald Trump, would you be playing an elite man or an everyman?
Okay, so I don't know if you know this, but I had this trip to France. I was just there with the head guy. What's his name?
Emmanuel Macron?
Alfonso Macron. And he narrowly beat Le Pen. I think she won.
This veteran character actor is known for disappearing into his tough guy roles like Hellboy and Sons of Anarchy's fearsome Clay Morrow. With that said, Perlman has hardly kept his complete and utter disdain for Donald Trump a secret. Perlman, who has often clashed with Republican political figures on social media, remarked in a 2020 interview that, quote, "It blows my mind that anybody could listen to this guy for 1 second and think that he's the president of anything."
This is an incredibly distinguished position.
Yeah.
This is a position that affects not just everyone in the United States, but everybody on the planet. And we are being held hostage by somebody who has no core, somebody who has no center, somebody who just, will say anything to generate a response.
Ahead of the 2024 election, Perlman declared that Trump was terrified of Democratic nominee Kamala Harris and expressed confidence that she'd win. After that didn't occur, Perlman referred to the president in an interview with The Guardian as a snake oil salesman con artist and implied that he was starting an anti-Trump counter-movement.
I'm talking with my new friend Alfonso Macron, and Alfonso says to me, the eclair. The eclair. And I didn't realize this, but we have Napoleon to thank for the eclair. That's it. The eclair is named after Napoleon.
Number 25, Sean Penn.
I often think about this president, the way that the audience, meaning the electorate, we're at a Batman movie. This is them rooting for the Joker against their own interests.
Much like Ron Perlman, two-time Oscar winner Penn has never turned down an opportunity to trash Trump. Penn's history of intense and sometimes confounding political activism, like interviewing Mexican narcotics kingpin Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, lends his presidential critiques an interesting color. Said Penn of Trump while speaking to the New York Times in 2024, quote, "He's shameful as an art and as a way of life," end quote.
My team and I would come home from test and vaccination sites at night, particularly during the testing period during the Trump administration. The maddening news, it really felt like there was someone in a machine gun gunning down communities that were the most vulnerable from a turret at the White House.
Later that year, in an interview with Hollywood trade publication Variety, Penn praised former President Joe Biden's decision to pardon his son Hunter, while simultaneously describing the upcoming Trump presidency as a clown show, a dangerous clown show. Penn also blasted the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences for, in his view, failing to recognize the Trump biopic, The Apprentice.
You seeing this? It keeps growing. Everything is growing. And I'm not talking about my hair.
Have you tried exercise?
No, absolutely
Why not?
You know that's going to kill you, right, Doc? First of all, the body is like a battery. It has finite energy. It runs out.
Okay, That's not true.
That is totally the truth.
Number 24, Alec Baldwin.
Hello, and thank you for coming. I'd like to start by answering the question that's on everyone's mind. Yes, this is real life. This is really happening. On January 20th, I, Donald J. Trump, will become the 45th President of the United States. And then 2 months later, Mike Pence will become the 46th.
Yeah, there's a chance that you already know what the multiple Emmy winner is doing on the list. Baldwin and Trump have come to blows on social media more than once over the actor's infamous impression of the president on Saturday Night Live. Baldwin played Trump on SNL from 2016 to 2020, taking over from Daryl Hammond and succeeded by James Austin Johnson.
Each candidate will have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Boring.
Mr. President, I haven't even introduced the candidates yet.
Tell that to my Adderall, Chris. Now let's get this show on the road and off the rails.
And you did take the COVID test you promised to take in advance, correct?
Absolutely. Scout's honor.
His Trump impersonation repeatedly went viral and aroused the ire of the real president, who tweeted in 2018 that Baldwin's performance was, quote, agony for those who were forced to watch. An Emmy for his portrayal wasn't Baldwin's only reward. According to the actor himself, former White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer revealed that none other than Melania Trump was a fan of Baldwin's Trump impression.
Hello, everyone.
And Merry Christmas.
That's right. You can finally say that again because the war on Christmas is over. And will soon be replaced by the war with North Korea.
Number 23, Neil Young. This Canadian-born singer-songwriter, a lifelong proponent of left-wing political issues, has repeatedly criticized Trump for not only his conduct, but appropriation of Young's music. In 2020, Young wrote Trump an open letter, and it could hardly be described as a love note. In the letter, Young insulted Trump as, quote, a disgrace to my country, he became a U.S. citizen that year, and negatively compared him to Barack Obama, writing that, quote, our first black president was a better man than you are. Young had earlier clashed with Trump over the use of his song Rockin' in the Free World in campaign appearances, leading to the musician filing a lawsuit against the president's re-election campaign.
So somebody tweeted out, does Neil Young support Trump? And a spokesman for Neil Young said, and this is the official statement from Neil Young, quote, Donald Trump's use of rocking in the free world was not authorized. Mr. Young is a longtime supporter of Bernie Sanders.
Number 22, Kathy Griffin.
Kathy Griffin is back on the offensive after posting a shocking video of President Trump.
She says she's not laying down now, while many say the comedian crossed the line.
Sometimes making what you think is a harmless joke ends up with an investigation from the Secret Service. That's what happened to comedian Griffin, who's never been one to censor herself or hold back her true thoughts on pressing cultural issues.
I understand how it offends people.
It was not enough for the president. Tweeting this morning, Kathy Griffin should be ashamed of herself. My children, especially my 11-year-old son Barron, are having a hard time with this. Sick. The First Lady followed. As a mother, a wife, and a human being, that photo is very disturbing.
Such was the case in 2017 when Griffin posted a picture to social media that depicted her holding up a bloodied Trump mask, seemingly intended to allude to a beheading. Although Griffin lost out on endorsements and job opportunities and thus apologized, she later retracted the apology and made the story the subject of her 2019 special, A Hell of a Story.
We've all had that time when you wake up and there's too many texts on your phone, right? Like, that's not good. It's good to get an occasional hello, but when you're just flooded, and don't you like your friends that are nice and vague? Hey girl, are you okay? OMG, call me.
Number 21, Rosie O'Donnell.
Donald Trump has been mad at you for a very long time.
Over a decade.
Over a decade.
Yes.
And did it sort of start? It started from The View, yes?
The View.
Yeah. And it's been really, we've sort of made the joke on the show that he's flip-flopped on everything except you.
It's actually very true.
Trump and comedian talk show host O'Donnell's public feud is the stuff of American pop culture legend. O'Donnell blasted Trump in 2006 over his handling of the Miss USA pageant, said O'Donnell at the time, quote, "He annoys me on a multitude of levels. He left the first wife, had an affair, left the second wife, had an affair, had kids both times, but he's the moral compass for 20-year-olds in America," end quote.
If I were running The View, I'd fire Rosie. I mean, I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers. I'd say, "Rosie, you're fired."
In response, Trump appeared on several television shows with the sole purpose of returning the favor, repeatedly threatening to sue O'Donnell. The two traded blows on social media for years, culminating in the comedian leaving the United States for Ireland following Trump's second inauguration in 2025.
Why in the world would you let Rosie O'Donnell move to Ireland? I think she's going to lower your happiness level.
That's true. Thank you. I like that question. Do you know you have Rosie O'Donnell? Do you know who she is? Do you know who she is?
Yeah. I'm joking.
You're better off not knowing.
Number 20, Chelsea Handler. Not many people would ditch their talk show to become a Trump hater full-time. But then again, not many people are like Handler.
The last time I was here, I was sitting at this desk, the President of the United States was a hot young parasailing novelist named Barack Hussein Obama. And now we have a new president whose name is Donald Putin Trump.
In 2017, the comedian, actor, and host announced the end of her Netflix show Chelsea. Instead, sparked by Trump's presidency, she wanted to focus on political activism. His election clearly had a profound and heartbreaking effect on Handler, since she admitted to going to therapy in the aftermath to deal with an existential crisis.
So it was a good chance to take a look at myself and find out what my issues are moving forward and why Trump represents such pandemonium to me.
The years haven't softened her stance either. In 2024, Handler took shots at Trump's running mate J.D. Vance for his cat lady comments by calling him a, quote, wingnut elegy, and putting her support behind Kamala Harris.
So, to put it in women-hating terms, you'll understand, you're being hysterical.
Number 19, Alan Richson. On paper, Richson is everything a Trump supporter would want. He's a white, straight, married Christian male with children, and as a retired U.S. Air Force Chief Master Sergeant as a father, and typically takes action roles.
I love watching you beat people up. I really do. I enjoy it. I don't know what it is.
Yet, Richson has no love for Trump and his supporters. In 2024, during an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, the actor described Trump as a con man and assaulter. He went further with his dismay that Christian churches seem to put the two-time impeached president on a pedestal.
You know what? Jesus became the scapegoat for us, to end violence once and for all. And so he's commissioned us to no longer make scapegoats of anybody.
Trump supporters weren't happy with the action star criticizing their MAGA hero, so they went online and called for a boycott of Reacher. Number 18, Mark Ruffalo. When it comes to actors getting involved with activism and political discourse, Ruffalo is one of the most prominent.
I think the world should consider my president as public enemy number one at this point.
After all, he's targeted many issues, including climate change, war, and civil rights. So of course, Trump was always going to be next. In 2017, he famously took part in an impromptu protest against Trump's reign with other celebs such as Olivia Wilde and Michael Moore.
Trump is not a legitimate president!
Trump is not a legitimate president!
Some of Ruffalo's best Trump-hating work has been on social media. In 2021, he led the celebration of Joe Biden's upcoming reign by stating on X, formerly Twitter, quote, "The golden toilet presidency is over." In 2024, Ruffalo took aim at Trump and Project 2025, calling the initiative white Christian nationalism. Number 17, John Legend. The musician slammed Donald Trump Jr. in 2016 by flat-out calling his father a racist.
I think he's selfish, he's racist, he's misogynist, he's a liar, probably the worst liar we've ever seen in public life.
Legend wasn't done, as a feud was launched between him and their family. Because Trump definitely doesn't hold on to grudges, in 2019 he called Legend boring and his wife Chrissy Teigen filthy-mouthed after they didn't praise him during a town hall meeting, even though Teigen wasn't involved.
It's kind of not even shocking to hear that the president is picking fights with people on Twitter. It's just like, something's wrong with
We all just wait for our day to come.
Yeah.
And mine happened to be Sunday.
Yeah.
So Legend mocked him some more. In 2024, when discussing the Black Lives Matter movement and Trump's reaction, legend stated that due to his actions as president, he thinks the former reality star, quote, believes black people are inferior.
He is a tried and true, dyed-in-the-wool racist.
Number 16, Martin Sheen. Considering he portrayed a tyrannical presidential prospect in 1983's The Dead Zone, Sheen might have some feelings about Trump.
I need your support. I need your expertise. I need your input. And most importantly, I need your money.
The West Wing president, who has a long history of activism, has taken shots at Trump many times. In the run-up to the 2016 election, Sheen publicly lent his support to the Hillary Clinton campaign and appeared in videos asking people not to vote for the Republican candidate.
Republican members of the Electoral College, this message is for you.
Beyond this, Sheen has thrown several insults at Trump over the years during interviews. He's called him a tyrant, an empty-headed moron, a bum, and a self-centered promoter. Even his son Charlie Sheen has mocked Trump for the fake wedding gift he received from him.
He says, in their finest moment, this is cheap pewter and bad zirconias.
Number 15, Barbra Streisand. Considering she was on Richard Nixon's 1971 political enemies list, Streisand isn't afraid to get dirty when it comes to campaigning against something she doesn't agree with.
I don't know how we're going to take, 4 years of this.
In 2018, the singer, actor, and producer released the song Don't Lie to Me, which criticized Trump's administration.
Hard to believe the things you said.
During an interview to promote the album release the track was on, Streisand referred to him as, quote, a man who is corrupt and indecent and is assaulting our institutions. Yikes. The EGOT winner has also blamed Trump for stressing her out so much that she gained weight, insulted him in her memoir, described him as corrupt, and stated she'd move to England if he wins in 2024.
How do you feel about the specter of a second Trump administration?
I will move.
Number 14, Whoopi Goldberg. In 2018, during an interview with David Axelrod, Goldberg's hatred of Trump led her to refuse to say his name out loud.
You never say his name.
I don't.
Why?
I can't.
On the whole, she stuck to this. But in 2024, the EGOT winner accidentally uttered the name on The View. Immediately, Goldberg sighed and pretended to spit on the floor as her co-hosts teased her. Goldberg has referenced Trump several times in 2024.
You are perpetrating anti-humanist issues here.
She pleaded with viewers not to fall for Kai Trump's attempt to humanize her grandfather at the Republican National Conference. After Trump put up a fake image of her on the Truth Social platform, claiming she was going to Canada if he won, Goldberg laid into him, labeling the former president a, quote, snowflake.
But I know where I'm going to be because I got a contract, so I'm going to be here where I'm wanted.
Number 13, John Lithgow. It can take some authors years to write a single novel. So imagine how angry you have to be at someone to write not one, but 2 books against them.
He wanted a robe made of ermine and velvet. The Constitution, he wanted to shelve it.
That's how much Lithgow despises Trump. In 2019, the Third Rock from the Sun actor released the satirical book Dumpty, The Age of Trump in Verse, which contained illustrations and poems ridiculing the Trump administration.
Trumpty Dumpty wanted a wall to stir up a rabid political brawl.
When promoting it, Lithgow mocked the then president by stating he wouldn't understand the jokes. In 2020, the 2-time Oscar nominee released the sequel, Trumpty Dumpty Wanted a Crown, Verses for a Despotic Age.
Trumpty Dumpty wanted a crown.
Lithgow then called up his friends and got them to read out the poems to promote the work, which included Meryl Streep and Samuel L. Jackson.
Despite how he made them all tremble and cower, they decided at last they would ride him to power.
Number 12, Taylor Swift. If there's anything you don't want to do, it's upset Swifties. Unfortunately for him, that's exactly what Trump did in 2024 when he posted an AI image of Swift supporting his campaign.
Important to note, Swift has not endorsed either candidate.
That's on top of the creepy audio footage of him referring to the musician as beautiful several times. Swift has been a lot more measured in her hatred of Trump, but when she strikes hard. In 2020, Swift slammed Trump for supporting white supremacy during his reign and then issuing violence against protesters for George Floyd's murder.
After stoking the fire of white supremacy and racism your entire presidency, you have the nerve to feign moral superiority before threatening violence?
She finished by stating he'd be voted out at the next election. Woof. In Swift's 2020 documentary, Miss Americana, she emotionally argued with a father in campaigning against Trump and regretted not doing so years before.
I need to be on the right side of history, and if he doesn't win, then at least I tried.
Number 11, late night show hosts.
Yes, I agree. This is truly an historic moment as Donald Trump becomes the first U.S. president convicted of a crime.
Many talk show hosts have criticized Trump in monologue, including Jimmy Kimmel when Trump was found guilty of 34 charges in 2024.
We should automatically make those jurors the new Supreme Court.
John Oliver had a whole episode dedicated to systematically taking down the then president. He later spoke about how Trump's second term would be far worse than his first.
Donald Trump views the truth like this lemur views the Supreme Court vacancy. I don't care about that in any way. Please, I have a banana.
Stephen Colbert created an advent calendar that counted down the days to Trump's original sentencing day in July 2024. Finally, Jon Stewart, after leaving The Daily Show, called Trump a man-baby. Then when he was back, Stewart used the platform to insult him whenever he could.
You want to give him absolute power? You want him to be the leader uber alles? You want him to have the right of kings? You do you. But stop framing it as patriotism.
Number 10, George Clooney. There aren't many political arguments that the multi-award-winning actor and filmmaker hasn't been involved with.
Try to get behind things that I think I could have, at least I can help bring attention to it.
And in 2016, Trump was Clooney's target during his election campaign.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump. That's not going to happen.
In interviews, he described the prospective president as an opportunist, a xenophobic fascist, a Hollywood elitist, and, a lot less scathing, a knucklehead.
He was just this knucklehead. I knew him before he was, a president. He was just a guy who was chasing girls.
After backing Hillary Clinton's run, Clooney put his support behind Joe Biden in the 2020 presidential election. The actor teamed up with former President Barack Obama for a virtual fundraiser for Biden's campaign, where the duo heavily criticized Trump's reaction to issues such as Black Lives Matter while making plenty of jokes. Number 9, Jim Carrey. In 2017, the actor and comedian showed his artistic side by creating political cartoons about the then president, his family, his administration, and his supporters.
This whole thing has brought back my 8-year-old self. It's been a gift from God. It's literally brought me back to 8 years old, where I used to sit in my room. Trump is toast.
Some highlights of his work include mocking Trump for suggesting consuming bleach to combat COVID-19, dressing him up as Ronald McDonald, and depicting him as a baby. Carrey's artwork even led to him hosting an exhibition of his pieces at the Macarone Gallery in Los Angeles, California in 2018. The actor also wrote essays heavily slamming Trump, calling him, quote, a bourgeois New York con artist.
You got to speak, man. This is not a time to clam up.
In 2021, Carrey retired his political cartoons after Trump was no longer president. But this hasn't stopped Trump's supporters from coming up with a conspiracy that he's secretly portraying Biden with a mask. Right.
Look, here's the deal. Nope, lost it. Come back to me.
Number 8, Eminem. 2017 was a big year for Eminem in showcasing his Trump hatred. After mentioning the then president during his track No Favors with Big Sean, the rapper was part of a cypher during the BET Hip Hop Awards.
That's an awfully hot coffee pot. Should I drop it on Donald Trump? Probably not.
The lyrical genius laid into Trump during his freestyle rap, calling him various insults and criticizing his priorities. Eminem also took verbal shots at Trump's supporters, even if they were fans of his music.
I'm drawing in the sand a line. You're either for or against.
Eminem walked back some of the criticism towards Trump fans during his 2018 song The Ringer and sympathized with them. Interestingly, Eminem also mentioned how the Secret Service investigated him for his anti-Trump demonstrations. Did that mellow him out? Not really. In 2023, he spoke about Trump brainwashing his supporters.
We love our military and we love our country, but we hate Trump!
Number 7, Kerry Washington. If there's any actor who knows about the mind of a devious manipulator, Washington would be the one, since she played Olivia Pope in Scandal.
Mediocrity is not an option for me.
In 2016, on the side of Clinton, the actor laid into Trump's family policies in interviews. During the 2017 Glisten Respect Awards, Washington verbally took down the then president during her acceptance without even mentioning his name.
The flames of terror and exclusion are being ignited by some of our most powerful leaders.
In 2020, as well as taking part in the Democratic National Convention, Washington also guest-hosted Jimmy Kimmel Live. During one segment, she asked children about the then president, who held nothing back by describing him as, quote, alien.
Yeah, what do you think of him?
Alien.
Washington even produced 2020's The Fight, which explored legal battles between Trump's administration and the American Civil Liberties Union. Number 6. Mark Hamill. In 2017, the Star Wars actor dusted off his old Joker voice to read Trump tweets, confusing many on whether the then president or the clown prince of crime had said these baffling things.
Happy New Year to all, including to my many enemies, and those who have fought me and lost so badly. They just don't know what to do.
Hamill has regularly given a verbal battering to Trump via social media.
I don't know about you, but after 4 years of this administration, I'm exhausted.
He agreed with Trump's statements that he should be jailed to restore the country's democracy, mocked the president stumbling over words in speeches, and shared Taylor Swift's criticism of him from several years ago. Hamill hasn't just used the internet to tackle Trump. He's also taken part in commercials for Biden's campaign. From one in 2020, the actor described Trump as, quote, easily the worst president ever.
We're doing a great job. Oh my gosh. You're living in some episode of The Twilight Zone that I don't want to see.
Number 5. Stephen King. In 1983, The Dead Zone was released, which featured a disturbed, narcissistic presidential candidate destroying the world in the future.
You cowardly bastard! You're not the voice of the people! I am the voice of the people! The people speak through me, not you!
Well, the novel it was based on was written by King. Seeing life perhaps imitating art, he has been very vocal against Donald Trump.
Have you ever blocked anybody?
Yes, I blocked Donald Trump.
As well as laying into him on social media, King added his name to an open letter by writers against Trump's candidacy in 2016. King has described The Apprentice star, or Blabbermouth Don as he coined, as a horrible president and person, a criminal, a dim bulb, and a sociopath. The legendary author has been vocal against Trump's abortion policies, his habit of stirring hate and division, and allegedly weaponizing his supporters against political rivals.
Do you think that the Trump presidency is scarier than a Stephen King novel?
Short answer to that is yes, I do.
Number 4. Meryl Streep. You'd think the U.S. president would have better things to do than retort to criticisms from a celebrity, but apparently not, as we discovered in 2017. After mocking Trump at the previous year's Shakespeare in the Park Public Theater Gala, Streep accepted an award at the 74th Golden Globe Awards.
But there was one performance this year that stunned me. It sank its hooks in my heart. Not because it was good. There was nothing good about it.
During her speech, the award-winning actor laid into Trump. She tackled his campaign and his grim mocking of disabled journalist Serge F. Kovaleski.
Disrespect invites disrespect. Violence incites violence. When the powerful use their position to bully others, we all lose.
On social media, Trump called Streep overrated, which is hilariously inaccurate, and called her a, quote, Hillary flunky. The actor has employed this immature insult several times over the years, as she condemned Trump publicly.
I totally agreed with him. Yeah.
Streep even used him for inspiration for her character's bonkers administration in 2021's Don't Look Up.
At this very moment, I say we sit tight and assess.
Number 3. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Before Trump moved from the entertainment world to politics, there was Schwarzenegger.
But certainly Mr. Schwarzenegger is, as of now,
the projected winner.
The action star became the governor of California from 2003 to 2011. Since becoming a citizen in 1983, Schwarzenegger stated he wouldn't vote for a Republican candidate with Trump in 2016. Trump didn't take it well, since he regularly criticized the actor who replaced him as the host of The Celebrity Apprentice.
Hey, Donald, I have a great idea. Why don't we switch jobs? You take over TV because you're such an expert in ratings, and I take over your job. And then people can finally sleep comfortably again.
In 2021, Schwarzenegger released a video that tore apart Trump and his role in the shocking Capitol riot, as well as calling him a failed leader.
He saw the coup by misleading people with lies.
The actor compared the 2021 incident to Adolf Hitler's Germany and the infamous Night of Broken Glass. Over recent years, Schwarzenegger has slammed the Republican Party for not finding an intelligent candidate to run.
And I think a lot of people in America today are being misled.
Number 2. Cher. During the 2016 election, several celebs stated they would leave the States if Trump became president. But for Cher, another country wasn't far enough. She wanted to switch planets.
It means we want to make America straight and white.
Shortly after he announced his campaign in 2015, the music icon published her scathing thoughts on social media, at one point saying his punishment was being Donald Trump. Over the years, Cher has compared the 45th and 47th president to notorious dictators, called him an idiot, and stated she has never hated anyone as much as him.
It's like there's a death in my family.
In 2023, after mentioning she got an ulcer the last time he was elected, if Trump were to win again, Cher reiterated she would leave the U.S. Perhaps this time she'll make it to Jupiter.
There's nothing nice about him. I can't say one nice thing about him.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Robert De Niro. Since he was elected as U.S. President in 2016, De Niro has taken every opportunity to verbally drag Trump.
Yeah, he's so stupid.
He ignored it until the actor uttered a curse word insult towards him at the 72nd Tony Awards in 2018, which garnered a really positive reaction from the audience. With his filmography pretty much making him an expert on the subject, De Niro has stated that Trump is a wannabe gangster and tough guy.
Today we have a kind of a weird, twisted president who thinks he's a gangster. Who's not even a good gangster.
He's described Trump as evil, having no ethics or morals, and a, quote, total monster. De Niro has also stated that he has no desire to portray Trump in a film since he has, quote, nothing redeemable. Considering he played Max Cady in 1991's Cape Fear, that's a brutal putdown.
Counselor! Could you be there?
Which Trump roast was the most shocking? Are there any we missed? Be sure to let us know in the comments.
If I were running The View, I'd fire Rosie. I mean, I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers. I'd say, Rosie, you're fired.
Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.